I can control the flow of oil. Valves and actuators have been around the world for years, providing flow control for the oil industry. In this presentation, I will cover the functions, history, and assembly workings of oil-filled valves and actuators. I will also touch on how technology is impacting the oil drilling process. The original oil-filled valve started with a typical ball valve when oil derricks were initially constructed. They were used to shut off or on the flow of oil into holding containers. Movement and growth in the industry has changed significantly. Along with valve designs, oil extraction became more advanced, and with the extraction becoming advanced, the need for more specified equipment to suit the purpose of the extraction was also needed. Specified shutoff points and more exact flow speeds were now needed to keep up with the different stages. For example, if the pipe size is transitioning from 6 inches to 2 inches, the flow must be altered to ensure the safety of pressure and speed along the pipe joints of the 2-inch pipe. To not do so would result in explosions that would cost lives, equipment, and oil, all of which cost more money to the consumer. With additional consumers, the need for oil has grown exponentially, and so has the production ability of wells and the number of those wells needed. Present-day ownership. There are many companies that use valves. For example, Halliburton, Baker Hughes, Drillquip, and many others. One of the more well-known valves names in use is Merla. The manufacturing plant is still in Houston. The company itself has been transferred many times before the year 2000, from Halliburton to BJ Services, and in 2000, 3 engineers bought it again and named it Tejas. They started reinventing the company in their garage. The business later on took off and became known as Tejas Research and Engineering. It now included pressure testing, engineering services, and valves. Now the company is known as Merla LLC. Their valves are sold to all the prior manufacturers and other well-known companies around the globe. As you can see, the company Merla has been around for many years in the manufacturing oil-filled flow control valves and other oil-filled equipment. Flow control valves. The function of flow control valves is to adjust the flow of liquid or gas to a specified setting by manually turning the handle similar to the faucet on the outside of your home. The difference is, by adjusting a small housing, you can actually control the flow to a specific gallons per minute flow. Actuators are basically an advanced flow control valve, as they do not have handles to turn, but are rather electronically turned, either holding a button down or specifying a flow number. This is an example of an actuator. As you can see the electronics here, you would have numbers displayed in a window right here, and you could select the flow. So actuators are basically advanced flow control valve, as they don't have handles but are electronically turned, and you set the number in gallons per minute also. There are a few safety related incidents that valves and actuators can eliminate. One, as stated previously, by reducing the flow to the next pipe size to prevent some type of explosion or stress on the system. Another would be if the flow out of the well was suddenly jolted by an increase of pressure coming up through the lines, the valve would only allow what it was rated and set at to go through the well. This stops impact to the rest of the well and helps maintain other oil equipment and plumbing and other devices for the the well system. Another situation would be if something after the valve was broke or corroded enough from such prolonged use to leak. The valve could be shut off to prevent excess spillage of oil, which saves money and time, and it allows the piece that was broken to be repaired. The inner workings of the flow control valve are pretty simple. If you look here, seals and packing allow the flow to be raised or lowered, the stem to be raised or lowered, along with the seat. Okay, And this piece actually sits right here screwed down with the seat and the stem controlling the flow from the inlet and outlet sides. Actuators are slightly more complicated, so to keep it simple, they're a flow control valve with electronics mounted to open and close the valve, a circuit board with a motor, and packing that moves up and down. So it's basically the same pieces. The actuator controls these pieces to raise and lower in the seat area of the valve. The actuator consists of circuit boards, a display device, and if you look down here you could see motors, gears, and a couple other things to actually use this portion of it to screw and unscrew the valve and stem up and down. New technology. I believe this is the most interesting part. Current developments allow monitoring of wells by electronic devices such as the iPad. This means that if you want to open or close an actuator, you can actually use your iPad or iPhone. A good example of this would be if it appears that your well is leaking due to a pressure drop indicated on your monitoring system. Your system would send you an email or an automated call to you and whoever needs to be notified. You turn on your iPad, load the app, touch the screen, the valve automatically closes. Then you can call your repair company or technician that works for the particular well and let them know about the area. They'll go to the area and inspect the problem and see if they can determine what needs to be repaired. By using solar power, wireless networks, and computer technology, oil derricks can now be in remote locations away from vandals and populated areas that could get contaminated if some type of spill occurred. This means safety, monitoring, and control have all been increased into today's oil wells thanks to continuous improvement of technology and engineering. In conclusion, I hope you found my presentation interesting and entertaining, and now you're aware of some of the inner workings of the oil field, its equipment, and how technology is playing a part in today's oil field. Hopefully the next time you're upset at high gas prices, think about all the personnel, piping, valves, and flow devices that the fuel had to go through to get to you. It may help ease some of the pain at the pump.